Good. Before I get a word, I instantly started choking. But welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I'm your host, Down the Crypto TA. Bitcoin is holding the ground right now. We did end up breaking the lower part of the, I call it a hockey stick, bear flag, whatever you want to call it. We did break the low of that. But when I zoom out to the higher time frame, such as the monthly time frame and as the weekly time frame, we still haven't went lower than we did prior, and we're still holding that trend line. So um, we're slightly okay at the moment. At the moment, all right. So we're trying to get a little bit of a bounce right now. We got some sort of a spike up yesterday. Now we did have a bunch of squeezes on the chart. I did recognize those squeezes yesterday because I was in the Ethereum long and I was still waiting because price had just been going sideways, consolidating, tight squeeze. Then the range all of a sudden shifted to a descending or falling wedge. And from that point, Ethereum popped up. We saw Solana yesterday. Solana was actually leading charge with the big pump and a couple of other things too. So you had Coinbase, anything that was really tied to crypto space. They all did the same thing. Coinbase did the same thing. USDC did the same thing. Circle, Robinhood did the same thing yesterday. So yeah, it was a crypto related thing in my opinion. I honestly don't even know what it was about, but in the technicals, you can see the squeeze on the chart. So Bitcoin on this time frame right here on this 15-minute time frame over here, we came up to one of the lines that I put on the chart on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I just kind of highlighted out where we had the moving averages at on the weekly time frame, and we came up and we hit the five because we have been struggling to get past the five already. So the five was a good indication of possibly where price could top out at. You also had the prior I might have changed this now on the prior day high. I'm not sure. It looks like it's the same, but mm, it may have changed. This was just a position from Tuesday, and we're just back at the golden pocket. So really, it's more like a double bottom. We do have a rising structure in here right now that could break us down. I am going to be taking a look at this weekly level down here along with the 786, but it's not the greatest, guys. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. The fact that we just managed to come back to this level right here and we didn't take out that previous day, we didn't take out this low over here, this low right here. I respect it, I respect the move. So more than likely we're squeezing through here with this little rising structure that we're waiting on price to break down from. And it looks like we shifted up a little bit higher. So momentum is rising up. Could be looking to pop our little heads back up there again. I'm just going to take a look at the Bollinger, just kind of see what we're working with. Okay, so we're expanding a little bit to the upside. And you can see that because we didn't come back into this trend line right here. We just kind of lifted up away from that trend line instead. All right. I'm not going to trail this right now. It hasn't moved far enough away. And it is something that I would expect to break down. So let's see. Got a few gaps in here. I'm just going to highlight this one here. So again, you know what this is? This is kind of interesting though, because we did take out the previous day high and we didn't take out that low. So that's kind of interesting. If we can maintain that, then maybe we get that move that we were looking for, which doesn't look like it from here. Doesn't look like it from here because this candle is still red. But maybe we get those that final move up into this. This is a 50 and a 382 right here. So this is a 50% retracement and a 382. Okay, so maybe we get this. This is just the best I could do trying to calculate um how that other shoulder could develop. So we stopped out here at the 382 the last time. We'll see. It looks. I mean, that's a good sign. That's a decent sign. That is a decent sign that we took out the previous day high over here, at least over here on this 15-minute time frame. I'm just going to use this as a model, and that we didn't take out this low over here. So right now, that's a higher high and a higher low at the moment. At the moment, that is what that is. Let me look over here. Yeah, at the moment, that's what that is. That's what it is. So I'm just gonna hide. Let's see. I'm gonna hide this pattern. Yeah, at the moment, that's what we got. Um, and I'll focus more on this trend line right here because that pattern is probably no longer relevant. Even on the back test, it's probably no longer relevant. Yeah, it's not. It's not really relevant anymore. I'll leave it over here. I'll leave it here. But for time frame, could be looking to push a little bit higher past what we did yesterday. You know how sometimes we'll get a price spike or price dump, and then it's for me, I think of it like a test in the market to see, how far we can go. Just like on this one right here, we got this drop down, and then you can see how it recovered, and then price came back to revisit that. I think we come back and revisit that spike up yesterday. I think that's what we do. We just come back up and we revisit that. It cleared out some liquidity for sure. So it may make it a lot easier to push up. And if it was enough liquidity there yesterday, we would have got a sharp reaction from it. We would have, because price to me, it does seem a little bit suppressed. At the end of the day, I hate to use words like that, but it does. Like we're barely getting anywhere. We're just going sideways at best. But let me take a look at Ethereum here too, which is looking a lot worse. It's looking a lot worse. But this was Ethereum the day before. We were just going sideways in some sort of a triangular formation in here, just going sideways. And then suddenly the market structure shifted down. And then when we got right in here, we started to squeeze right through here. So I figured we would get some sort of a break to the upside. And the first attempt failed. We came back in towards the low part of the range, and then we popped back up into filling in this inefficiency right here. But this is what it looked like. If I could show you here on the Bollinger, it's going to be so you see how we were going sideways through here, creating some sort of a triangular formation, and we had the squeeze in here initially, and then we just started to roll over, roll over, roll over, roll over, and then we got I mean, it was decent enough. It was more than what we were doing, so it was noteworthy. And now we're back to squeezing again. Just nothing. Just nothing. And this is now rising to the upside. We came down to that second target that I had in here for this. I'm going to continue to refer to it as potential head and shoulder. It was just something that, was noticed in the chart. We did the first one, which was right here. I changed the colors in here on the lines a little bit, but we did the first one, and then that was just the second one, which was just the pivots. This one wasn't. This wasn't a pivot right here, which was just that. But this is how it's been on the chart, and we just came back down here and tapped into this one right here, and we're holding. But Ethereum is definitely performing a lot worse. We could take a measure move on this here. At the end of the day, what I'm thinking about Ethereum, especially for the bear market, where I think we end up being at, if we play that all the way out, and we're just hitting the 5 EMA right now here on the 4-hour time frame, which it has been pretty. RSI is looking like garbage. Yesterday, I think we were down to like I did enter a new long position off of this right here as well, just because I can see where we were hitting that down here, and we didn't go too far the last time, so I just did that again. We were right in here, same place, same energy. So I hopped into a long on this, and we're just creating another drop to be had likely. Maybe we can get back up here to the golden pocket and back test that. It's low, yeah. Maybe we get back into here and reject. But at the end of the day, hold on, I got to put this onto the 6 right here. At the end of the day, this is my thoughts on it. Like, we would come back, we would either come back and we'd be looking to hold it here, maybe about where the 786 is, in terms of a bearish environment, bear market environment. And then if we're not managing to hold that, then I would say that we come back in here and revisit this VWAP, where we hit it here, we hit it here, we hit it here. And this is us breaking up the VWAP over here. So VWAP could be a contender as well. So first things first is going to be the 786 in here, where we have the value area low, and that's at $2,147, and whatever is Coinbase chart. And if that's not managing for us, we have this ascending trend line through here with the VWAP. So this, want to see if it drops into VWAP, you want to see it reclaim back above that trend line, at least. That's what it did before. No closures below this trend line right here. So unless you're just feeling bold, and if it taps here and you just want to buy, it's definitely worth. If we get into here, taking some risk right here, that would be cool. And then taking some risk right in here at VWAP. But we did not take out this low over here either, so that's all right too. Nasty little top and tail candle right there, but it's a weekly time frame chart. That could have just been our continuation. We get these little small bounces and just look to short those small bounces. Now we probably would have been wrong this time. Well, no, let me take that back. Let me look back over here. Nah, wouldn't have been wrong. So yeah, every time price gets a move back up, you're not expecting for it to take out the prior high. So that's just, that's a short. That's what it is. Every time price gets a little bit of a move up, and we're so bearish. Let me see what we're doing here. Let me take away. Uh, we're so bearish. We're doing a 382 rejection. 382.50. 382.50. We're so bearish. We're continuously doing a 382 to a 50% rejection. Like that means we're really bearish. Because typically, when you have enough, you at least get to the golden pocket. Like we're hitting golden pocket in 786 on the moves down, but we're only managing to do a 382 and 50% retracement on the moves to the upside. That's three times. That's three times we only managed to do that much. Right there. That much. That much. That much. So let's speculate. If this is our low, let's just say we managed to, that would be back. That would be back to what I was just saying. Back right about in here if we can get all the way up to here. So we'd be looking at a 382 to a 50% retracement once again. That's it. That's it. I'm going to take this away. I'm going to take that part away because we've already dropped through that, right? Just a 786 on here instead. So this is probably be about what we'd be looking at again. So I will pop that on my chart. Because if we're going much lower, this is a 4-hour time frame. This is 4-hour time frame right here. So that's what we got to look forward to. Checkmate. Don't forget, I'm considering this to be some sort of a head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder right here with the measure move down to here, which matches up to what I was saying on that higher time frame. It matches up with that. Let me just try that here. Because I don't know if that's the same, if I'm pulling it from the same target or not. I just wanted to see, make sure I'm pulling it from the same target. And it's not just a 4-hour. It might just be that 4-hour that's making it easier for me to see this. Or did we spike above that? No, it's just this 4-hour. Just this 4-hour that's making it easy for me to see that. So it's not this time frame. And try it one more time. Yeah, so use that off of the 4-hour only. Don't use it on the daily, but use it for the 4-hour time frame. Because it's this right here more than, yeah, I use it for the 4-hour time frame only. But that's helpful, seeing that. All right, let's take a look at Shalonzo. This was Solana breaking up out of its little wedgie structure in here. All right, hold on for a minute. I do hear that there's somebody making a comment in the chat. Good morning, Sincere. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Not getting chopped up in this market. Hey, our Solana short worked out great. I'm still holding on to that. It didn't stop me out yesterday, so still holding on to that Solana short. But this was the structure yesterday with Solana with the breakout right here. Looked just like Ethereum, but it's actually performing better than Ethereum. But you can see down through here. what was about to happen, especially with that rotation. Now Solana did take out the monthly low. What was the range low for from the weekly? Let me show you over here on the it was this right here though, but yeah, it was that. That's the easiest way for me to do it for you. It was this low right here. So from I wanted to let me see. Yeah. From this range in here that we had, Solana did take out this. I unlocked about half of my Solana yesterday and I set it up for a take profit. I'm trying to get a little bit of a bounce out of it. So my TP is going to be a little bit higher than where we are currently. If we get there, I'm hoping we do. But I haven't re-entered any positions on Solana just yet. Not yet. I've been messing around with Ethereum a little bit more, but I haven't re-entered anything on Solana just yet. I was a little busy yesterday, so I didn't manage to take the positions. I wouldn't have been able to pay too much attention to it anyway. So I saw it when it happened on the chart, but yeah, doctor stuff. So let's put that first. This line right here can be moved. Um, I just kind of left it organically as it was since we weren't closing outside of it. I just left it like that. But we did take out this little low in here. Low of the range for Sol. It's looking bad. Looking bad. Now, I've been saying that Solana has the potential to get down to about 40 to 30 something bucks. That's what I've been saying on this channel. I did go back in and I added some additional rays that I could spot on the daily time frame. Now I can't find these on that weekly time frame, but they are available here on the daily time frame. So if we're coming down, which it looks like we could, which is going to be trash. It's going to be trash, but we would still be within the bear market territory here for Solana, looking to not lose or to take out 99. I think 99 would have been the low, but below 120, like I said, is really a bad environment for Sol, really a bad environment. We can look down here towards this trend line in here. Next, this ray. You can look down in here next. You can see how we dropped, held, this golden pocket reaction. So I can't count that. I don't have a ray that matches with this either. It's just a psychological reaction right there. And dropped, and we were chopping and holding that one. So if this was it, if this was it for this ray here, then we have to be looking down here, which, like I said, is still within bear market territory. Actually, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not, because we should not be taking out this low right here. We're taking out this low right here. Oof. We got problems. Yeah, we got some problems if we're taking out this low. I'm looking at the 130 level to try to re-enter a short. 130. You think we hold on 130? Okay. All right, 130. I can see that. Just coming back up here again. Yeah, I can see that. But we're below this trend now that we were holding. I would expect for this to react to some, I mean, unless they spike us up again, they would have to spike this price up again for us to get as high as 130. But it's definitely possible the way they've been doing it. I would probably see if we can't get. I mean, that's a great place to start because we don't know. So if they do spike it up, then yeah, I would be looking for some sort of a rejection around that point that you're talking about as well. Um, and I think I have this trend right here kind of marked out. It did break beyond it a little bit yesterday, right here off of this wick. There was like a trend line down through here. Well, I would have last put it like this since, which, lines up here with what you're saying about that 130 in here. But that would have to be the condition. Right now, it looks like from this 4 hour, we'll move this trend line right here. Since we did kind of take that out yesterday, just notch that up a little bit. Get that off. In the meantime, I'll probably be looking for a rejection somewhere back at least about the trend line that we got to break down from. I would expect this to act as some sort of a resistance point first. And then if we get through that, yeah, I would start to look up towards that 130. You're right. You're absolutely right, Sincere. I would start to look up towards that. It's the value area low. We're currently sitting below as well, which means we have to reclaim above that value area low also. I think I looked at this yesterday. For the idea of the weekly time frame trying to bottom out. I was looking at the MACD actually, but it's not really solid. When I look over here at this section over here, it's very, very choppy within this section right here. Not so much here the second time. I'm gonna push this up so we can see that. Just kind of drop these right here. So you can see this sort of flip, this purple coming in down here on the delta, and it looked like it was kind of bottoming. It looks similar to that right in here. I don't know. I think, hmm, I don't know how I'm going to feel. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to feel if we actually come back up. A back test would be ideal, but price could get away from us at that point if it happens with no failure. If the weekly, because I really can't confirm that, but I do see this purple down through here, and we're doing that now right over here. Again, a bit more choppy over here, a bit more choppy over here. But that's a bull div. That's a bull div right here. Either way it goes, I took out my unstake half of my Solana, waiting to sell it because I'm not gonna ride it all the way back down if that so happens. You saw where I had this measured move right here, which would put it all the way back down here. I'm really not entertaining this. I just looked back at it yesterday, just because I don't want to fail to highlight something that can be. The lowest I was looking at was about that 40 to 30, but I've already incorporated some other areas that we could see support if in the event we did come down here and take out this low right here, which shouldn't be the case. Not in the bear, um, not for the bear market low. It shouldn't be the case, but just in case it is, and that's just a measure move from the head and shoulders. That's all that is, a potential head and shoulders. I was seeing a tweet yesterday where they were just talking about the use on the Solana platform declining by quite a bit. And there's a lot more competition, so that's why I say you really don't know if it's going to come back or not. I know that there's a lot of institutional adoption for Solana, but we really can't say that it's going to come back. We really can't. If something like that were to happen, that could be, it could be trading like AVAX. And I had some big hopes for AVAX this go round. It just didn't play out. It did not pan out. I didn't buy any, but I'm just saying what it looked like to me in the chart. And I shared with you how we weren't getting above 60. We stayed neutral. We didn't even get back into this green on that last push up for Solana. Nice little wedgie structure, but and right now it equates to, like I said, some bullish divergence right now. Not confirmed, but it does equate to it. Bullish divvies right now. That's how we got the last few tosses back to the upside. Was based on that. This tends to recover right here. This does. Hasn't turned up just yet, but anytime it's outside of that red line, it tends to turn back in. But just this right here, this is still bullish divvies. I don't know. Let me look back at Bitcoin really quick. See, Ethereum pushed up a little bit more on that 15, just a little bit more. Pump fund in court in New York as well. Really? I was looking at my pump. I was looking at my pump long, which I said, I didn't really care if it stopped me out or not. I didn't put a stop loss on that one. I used very small capital on it. And it's been getting closer and closer to actually liquidating me, which is fine because it is not. It is. I said it was something that I wasn't concerned about if it didn't work out. So it's down quite a lot. It's really close to liquidation at this point. I'm gonna share that. And this is my DGen play. Stupid, but again, not something that I'm really caring about. Don't try this at home. Don't try it at home. So I'm just chilling in this thing. Yeah, with a 2x. But 70% down, and it just keeps going down, down, down. It looked pretty decent at the time when I decided to do it, and it was based on a higher time frame. So I was like, I'm not going to put that much into it. You know how it is with a meme coin, and I don't really care for meme trading anyway. So down quite a bit on that thing. And if it liquidates it, it liquidates it. I did not put a stop on it, and again, it's not something that I'm really caring about too much. And I wasn't expecting to make a whole lot on it anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could stop the bleeding, but it's not even worth it, honestly. Just wanted to see what it would do. And that's the only one. The only one. I don't have anything else in my portfolio that looks like that. I was looking at Jito though, because I have a spot bag of Jito, and I was just looking at that yesterday, and I did not realize because spot bags I really don't pay too much attention to them. Not too much, especially when I've already taken profit out of it. Like I took my initial investment out of Jito when it first pumped up on me, and then I took some profit from it as well. So the rest of it was supposed to just be free capital if it continued to move higher. But it is down a lot, and I'm not really understanding like what the heck is going on with Jito. It looks awful. It just looks terrible. And it's supposed to be one of Solana's let me see. Where's this garbage at? Look at this. Look at this. I mean, really look at this. That's terrible. It is almost back down at, well, this is a Binance low. It probably has more candlesticks on a different chart, but this is terrible for JTL. And the sad part is it hasn't created a weekly average low from this part below the demand line. It hasn't created anything down here. This probably isn't coming back. Had I paid attention to the chart, maybe I'd have caught it. Just based on the MACD just rolling over completely. Weekly RSI is at 24.84. You would think a bounce would come through right now, but the RSI isn't even curving up just yet. This is rising for some sort of a little bounce potentially. If it gets above zero, it's not something that I would buy out of excitement. Like how some people buy the dip and buy the fear. Like, nah, this isn't something that I would pick up on. If this comes above zero, then sure. But right now, there's nothing that indicates that this is about to turn around, that it won't continue down. This is garbage right now. Look at that. Nothing. No sort of reactive bounce or anything. Just no liquidity. No liquidity. The trend line sold has from January 1st to next touch on April 7th. I'm not sure. You said the trend line on the weekly chart. You said from January 1st to April 7th. This year? I'm not sure. Let me see, you looked at it from a weekly. Oh, I'm sorry, 2024. You said 2024. You said April 7th. No, I have this marked out um like a horizontal. I have it marked out like a horizontal. I don't do this one like that. Not this one. It would still be, you know, it would still be the same thing as not taking out this low right here. So it would still be the same as me looking at I'll put it on the weekly. That's about the same as me saying we don't take out this low right here. Yeah, that's the same as me saying don't take out this low right here. And I really hate to cut through this wick. The only way I'll cut through a wick is if I'm using a line bias. That's the only way I'll cut through a wick. I have to be using a line bias. And then I don't like to cut through lines either. So it would have been something like this for me. I would do it something like that because otherwise I really hate to cut through a wick. I would have to do it like that. We should take it off of January 1st, but it's still, yeah, it's still that horizontal. It's still this level right here, this top side right here at 99.49. I don't know why this didn't show up over there. I'm using a Binance chart. Let me do it like that. Yeah. So basically, if it tapped back into, for me, if it tapped back into this top without taking out this low, but that's just too low. Once we break 120, I mean, we've already violated. Well, we're still holding this low here, but once we lose that, I don't feel good about Solana. Yeah, I don't feel good about Solana once we lose this level in here below 120. I really don't like it. Get scarier. We'll be moving further away from the 50. And like this is like the second time that Solana has ever dropped below the 50. And that's out of this candle right here that pushed us below 50, the same way this candle over here pushed us below 50, which means that it could fall a lot further than the bear market territory, which stops out here at this low. But if we're taking out that low, then we're changing structure even more here on this monthly time frame. We already did the one over here. We already took this one out right here. And then we came up, we put in a lower high. So if we're taking out, yeah, if we're, I don't like this part breaking because it gives me the fear that we continue that and then that just makes it even worse. Like this, that makes it even worse. Like we're barely sitting in here. Barely. That's 122.79. We're barely holding that right now. And we're also below the 786, and Solana tends to respect fib levels. So we're no longer within the golden pocket 786 region now. What do I have to look forward to? Maybe sincere. Maybe. Maybe. I don't think we have like a, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't think so coming back. And I hate to say it, I really don't think Solana's coming back for a very long time. We got back up above this resistance here in that occasion, but we lose it now. How lucky will we be? I mean, it's just some better options out there, some better platforms right now over Solana. Yeah, the whole market does have some work to do. And the things that they've been putting into ETFs and uh, it's been performing a lot worse, a lot worse. I don't think they'll ever be able to do that with XRP though. It's a stable coin, but with Solana, for some reason, now Solana against Ethereum right now was, we made it back up here. I didn't mean to jump off subject over here, but I just noticed that we made it back up here to our trend line here for our megaphone pattern on the VIX here. Let me push over into, we're at our resistance point again on USDT dominance. Solana versus Ethereum. Still looking decent. Solana versus Bitcoin, almost at that measured move from this head and shoulders. So maybe something like this to save the day. But right now, I just don't think that Solana comes back. Let me slide these out. Yeah, Sol is a lot easier to trade. It's not as volatile. Yesterday it was something crazy, but that was like pretty much crypto yesterday and anything related to crypto from the stock market. But yeah, so Solana is a lot easier to trade, which is why I've been messing with it here lately. No, nothing new for me right now, but yeah, it is a lot easier to trade. It's actually pretty cool. It is. It has been the trade that has been building this little account that I have right now over on Blowfin. It has been the one that's been doing that. Been taking small little plays on it, small wins, but that has been working out very well. Low leverage, more of my own capital instead, taking the small wins, and yeah, it's been pretty good. And I do still, like I said, that short that we took, um, I am still holding that. It doesn't look like much on the surface, but it's still working. And just a little bit left in it from that 139. Take a look at Bitcoin dominance. As others, I like to be out a little bit higher. I don't see a point in trying to read Bitcoin dominance from any time frame below the weekly. I just don't. Which is pushing up right now. We haven't even taken out this low, which is why I'm not zooming out to any lower time frames. And then over here, I switched this. Hold on. What did I do? I made some changes. I got to go through and I have to go in and change all of that. So tell you what, so I don't have to. Just so I don't have to. My thing has been that we were still holding within the cloud. So I didn't have a reason to really get too bearish on it. Not just yet. If we take out this low now, then sure. But as long as we're holding within the cloud, then there's a chance that price action can continue up. Maybe even get a break outside of this little section right here. Maybe even get a break outside of this, which is off of a can't see that, off of a line bias. There's always a chance that it does, what it did over here when it had that little channel. I don't think it's done just yet. I think we go a little bit higher here. You scared? Yeah. Yeah, I'm being really careful about my trades myself. I'm keeping the leverage low and I'm keeping the position size small. And in both directions, whether I'm taking a short or whether I'm taking a long, I'm keeping the leverage low. Like even yesterday, I switched my I was already using, I would consider to be low leverage on Bitcoin, which was a 10x. I even dropped that down to I think I dropped that down to a 3. Let me make sure. What did I change that to? No, I dropped it down to a 5. Um, which is even lower for me for Bitcoin. But I've been reducing my position side, my leverage on a lot of things. Ethereum, I'm doing a 5x on Ethereum also, as opposed to what I was using before that. 2x on Solana is about as much as I'm doing, and anything else is probably going to be somewhere around a 2 to 3, and just keeping the trade size small and get lucky if it does something like this. But right now, everything is so it's so bearish that even when the RSI gets in the dirt, like it barely even moves a little bit. And I've been using and I've been using 30-second, which is something that I don't use anything below a 15 for the most part. Sometimes I come in and check it out just to see if we're at a key level. But outside of that, yeah, I even had to drop down to much lower time frames to view the chart. But when I tell you, like if it had any sort of relationship to crypto, it pumped yesterday and dumped. Like this was strategy yesterday with the same situation. We're at support levels, so these red lines that you're seeing in here, these are potential support levels. Actually, we broke this one, of course. We held this one, we broke up using it as resistance. Now this one we broke through, but we got back up at here early in the day. If it drops down from here, if it loses this level right here, I'll be looking at 152 for strategy next as a potential area that you might get a bounce from right here. But strategy got this little move on it yesterday. Hood, okay, well, Coinbase, you can see, did the same thing with that quick little pump up and then that sell off. Circle, same thing, and it came back up to the 85. And then there was Robinhood did the same thing with the pump up yesterday. and then the quick dump off afterwards. And while I'm here, I did put out an update on Broadcom because this was the trade right here. This Broadcom that we talked about, getting back up here into this blue trend line from the top side of the channel here and coming down, potentially looking for a reaction around this trend line in here, which it ended up breaking it and back testing it twice for the rejection, coming into the gap. This was the second area right here. And I just tweeted last night that I was assuming that the price was probably going to bounce from here. I don't think for sure that we take out this 318 in here on Broadcom, and that it does attempt to go back up from here. How high it goes, it probably puts in a lower high, and then continue that move to the downside, maybe even back down here to the bottom side of the channel. And I was thinking to myself, if only I was an options trader, I could have killed this, because it happened so quick. It happened so quick. As soon as it dipped back down in here too, which it was already kind of toppy a little bit. If you recall, I didn't actually trade this because I can't trade it. It was a paper trade on it. A paper trade just for the charts, right here at this level, because it had been sniffing around this line and rejecting from it, and it had this little rising trend line through here, which was something else to be watched. And just in a state of euphoria, just way up here, like all of that together, this euphoric level right here, the top side of the trend line, all of that, and just where I thought that price might actually come back into. Everything just kind of hit over here on this one in the gap. And this was when price was up here. The theory on this right here. So this is a pretty good play. So come back up for a lower high. And then potentially, like I said, it ends up breaking here. I would be looking down here because this would be the next level for me. This trend line in here from the channel, and then back here to that 20 SMA for Broadcom. $236. And then the other one happened to be, which just broke my heart, but it is what it is. Still waiting to see if this is going to play out right here for that measure move on this head and shoulders down here to the 180. So far it's all right. Intel, like I was saying, with Intel, my thoughts is that it could get back down here to this 33.65, possibly hold a 33.65 if it's going to continue to move around above, possibly above this 40, but hold this 33.65 on Intel. And if that doesn't work, then 66 is going to be the next level. 26, I don't think that it moves below that, and this is asking for a lot here. It could be in a state of harmony where we only see it do as much as this right here, and then it breaks back up above here. But I don't like the I think that I like Intel as a range play, but I don't think that Intel is worth more than what it's given already. That's just my no good opinion. So this was looking at the idea of a possible inverse right here. We did break back down below this neckline. If we invalidate it, then of course it's off the table, but I still think that Novo probably bottomed out. It likely bottomed out, and it wouldn't go lower than, I mean, it can, something else that I talked about on the chart before, it can, maybe this 80, this $30 here into this lower trend line right here at 30.17, this 0.886 $30 range right here. It could if it wanted to. I'm spot buying on this one right here because it is pretty beaten up. Anytime I see something come back down towards the platinum pocket um, in the stock market so far, that has been like the wall, the put wall for it. So bullish on Novo. Where is Chime? Not Chime. Oracle. Oracle. I mean, you all know we didn't make it to the level I was looking at on Oracle, which, like I said, then I might be overreaching, asking for something like this, just looking for that push up before we possibly came into the target of the 150, um, which could be the put wall here for Oracle 150. I mean, we're breaking what I consider to be harmony for at 181.35. We are below that now. Tried to bounce off of it right here, but we're below that now. So that puts this 150 in play, and maybe even this 124 in play as well. But the 150, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. It's just it was the idea of getting the bounce first and then coming down here to this 150. And it's not selling off real bad. So I'm not bearish on it. I'm not holding it anymore, but I'm not bearish on it. I got stopped out on this, pull back in here. And I told you I didn't take profit on it either. When it did get that push up, I failed to take profit out of it. Bitcoin is kind of silent right now. So I'm watching it, guys. I'm watching it. I just want you to know that. I would like to tell you I'll be looking for a bounce from here. Now, if it reclaims back above this 181.35, if we're trading back above this right here, I might want to play with it again. I might want to. I do still have my concerns about the 150, but this could do. This could do. But only if it starts to show some strength back above it. It has to get back above it though. And if you know anything about me and the Bollingers, then you would know what I'm looking at when I do stuff like this, or when I say euphoric and harmony using a 3 month. I just need to verify what I was using. Because that's about all it had done this entire time up, is it stayed in between euphoric and harmony. So that's what I refer to. I also call it the trap, when price is moving in between um, the standard deviation 2 and standard deviation 1. So if it's not breaking down below this, like if it's not continuing to roll over, reclaiming back above this level as it is slightly below it right now, then it could be a bounce place for it, as it has been in the past. Now you can see this time right here. That's why I said then I would look down here. You got that 150, which had a lot of volume behind that level for put position, and then down here towards the 20 SMA, which is currently sitting at 123.16. I don't know if my line is still lined up with that. Typically, when I put it on the high time frames like this, it tends to work out. So you have the one here where it wick down, and then you have the one over here where it closed down into it. So yeah, either Oracle recovers back above this level right here, and we start to see it move with some strength back to the upside, then that was it. Then this could be it. This could be the low on it, and whoever put in all that money for that 150 call may not get it. That 150 put may not get it, might not get it. And that was another reason for me to kind of, and I'll show you my lines. So you see my lines. So when I'm going euphoria and I'm going harmony, then I'm looking at something from a higher time frame that shows where the balance is, the imbalance and the balance is for the chart. And that'll be the same thing with what I was looking at on. Let me just do it like this on Broadcom. So AVGO, except I'm not using this time frame for AVGO. I'm actually using a monthly, I believe. Yeah, I'm using a monthly on AVGO. Which this actually, I have to switch this now because the low is rising since AVGO got that big move back down below that standard deviation too. So now I have to adjust this right here. So next time you see it, it won't look the same on the chart. But at the time when I looked at it and I found where it was balancing price action out at, it was like this. But since it started to drop here, that also causes a reaction to the Bollingers, and so it shifted. But you can see how AVGO was respecting the move in between standard deviation 1 and 2. So I do this quite a bit. I do it in crypto too. Crypto, I would say, is a little bit more respectful. Well, no, stock market. Well, they both are. I never have any issues when I look at it like this and I zoom out on the high time frame. I never have any issues with it ever. And then it helps me to see like whether or not we're expanding or contracting. Those two things too. But when you can find harmony between price action, it works really really good in catching, you know, potential moves, swings back up to the upside. So this might actually fill in that entire gap. Sorry, I had to move that. I typically don't have to move it, and I'm usually using, like I said, the 3 month is my favorite time frame to use in the stock market. It's 3 month. That's something that also helped me with Ethereum, and I've covered that with you a few times. And if you weren't here, I'm gonna show you this again, just in case you weren't here. So I was looking at just kind of like where Ethereum was topping out here on the 4 hour time frame, and it's just a 4 hour time frame. Really worth mentioning on this, and it's not really pushing past. It's not actually at all pushing past the 382 and the 50% retracement. So you can see right here we capped out at the 382. Here it went through, but no closures outside of that right there. So you can see that at the 50% retracement there. Here, 50% retracement right there as well. So we're looking at the fact that if price comes up where it might actually top out again, it's going to be again the 382 or the 50% retracement. 50 is in line right here with this wick right here. If it's doing more than that, then we can say that Ethereum probably has a change of behavior, and we can look for something even higher on it. Maybe even Yeah, much higher on it. If it changes behavior, if it keeps the same behavior, then yeah, might take out this low right here next. But I'm big on when I see the time frames change. When I see a chart change its behavior, I'm really big on that. That tends to be where something either reverses or, and I don't think that we're about to reverse. We'll get another pump, a relief bounce, a bigger relief bounce. But if it changes its behavior, something to watch. But right now, 382, 50% retracement here on this 4 hour for Ethereum. And just do that off of this 4 hour again. And that's also something that helped me with Ethereum, to be able to say, yeah, this chart is not going to, it's not about to get up to $10,000 right now. It's not going to do it. It just wasn't something that presented a $10,000 move. Now we can see, just based on this 3 month time frame right here for Ethereum, that it has, I mean, this trend line right here. We can say this trend line right here. We can also say if we were able to pull this back, we see we continuously bounce off of the 20 SMA on the 3 month time frame, which we're getting pretty close to coming into that right now. This was the one time that it did go over it, especially when it rises up from a when the trend line, when the moving average deviates from the trend line, then I expect for, if it's deviating up from the trend line, then I expect for the trend line to be hit. And if it deviates below the trend line, then I expect for the trend line to be broken. So I'm looking for this to be support for Ethereum. We can bank on this 2488. We could bank on that and say maybe I'll take something there. I don't have a 3 month in here. I'm not going to put this one in because it's never come down there to it. But this just wasn't something that indicated that price would be trading well beyond it. Wick, yeah, and this is what I said back here. I said wick and then come back in, but it wasn't something that indicated that price action would be able to trade. Far from it. It's not like it just had some sort of a squeeze on it. It just gives you a range of volatility when it's open like this, as opposed to a squeeze. Like anytime it squeezes like that and then price breaks out, we can assume that price can go anywhere. Anywhere. But when it's expanded like this, then likely this becomes resistance or potentially support. But note that price can easily move through here because it has a range about it has a lot of volatility, a lot of room to move around, as opposed to being constricted. Somebody's hugging you tight, you're constricted. Somebody lets you go. It's different. But knew that this wasn't about to go up to 10,000 just yet, sadly. Even on, let's see if there's any harmony, any, if price action is managing to move in between anything significant and it's not. Nice little squeeze here on the 1 hour time frame. C2 or injecting. We're just all over the place. Yeah, 4 hours our friend today. Solana's been managing to get back to the golden pocket every time off of that 4 hour time frame, including yesterday. It had two options on the 4 hour. Well, yesterday there were two possible golden pockets it could hit. The first one we got a little bit of a reaction off of, and that was when it got that first little drop down, and then it pushed into to that second um, golden pocket. But this has been Solana just managing to, let me just slide this over a little bit so you can see. Take that off. But every push it has been managing to get into the golden pocket. So from here to this drop right here, golden pocket, here to this drop here, golden pocket, And then yesterday's move, there was this one right here that it did not. The first time it did give some sort of a reaction um, around this level. You can't see it right now, but it did give some sort of a reaction at this level off of the lower time frame, and then it came up and it hit the golden pocket, the second option of the golden pocket. Which was there to here. Hit that one. That means it would have to get through here. I don't know. I don't know. It would have to get through that. That makes it look like it hit the 786 and it didn't. I don't know, Sincere. Maybe. Maybe. I set a limit order for it just in case some shenanigans happen today. I will set a limit order for it. All right. Locked and loaded. We'll see. I have to say I'd be pretty bullish on it doing that. I guess that would be if it came up here, if it came back into that's a little bit too tight. Maybe it does the unthinkable today. Maybe it did. I suppose if it did something like that's a little bit too tight, I would actually appreciate it doing something more like that if it managed to do something like that and held here as support. And things start to look a little bit better. I don't really like this. But let me entertain both of these. Without knowing. can get with that. And let's just pretend for a second. Actually, like that. Actually, do like it. Let me hide that. Pretend for a second it was this one. Instead, I'm gonna put it on. I don't know if I want to keep it like that now. I'm gonna put it on this one because that's where it was before. That's doable too. If that were to happen, this would be too low. It's kind of doable. This, of course, would change. This would have to change if we did something like that. And we don't really have a clue. We'll do a 786. Let's see if that's possible. It wouldn't be just today. It would take some time if it did. Hour. I mean, we got the bull div in here off this 4-hour time frame. I think we do. Yeah, we got a little bullish divergence. Don't really mean anything at the moment on the bull div. That could actually work though. Back into this golden pocket, because if we pump up from here now, RSI is going to be moving a lot faster than price action, which means it'll put in a bear div, which would give it a rejection and send it back down. It doesn't mean it has to come all the way back down here. It could actually find support back on this line again. It looks like I'm cutting through this line a little bit. I don't like that. And that's probably because, yeah, I'll put this on here. Oh, no, not that. Yeah, RSI be moving faster than price action as long as it's not closing above here, which means even if it hit this, it would have to do something like that. We'll put in a second limit order. just in case. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I hardly trade Ethereum too. I just really decided to do it. I don't know. I have the strangest time of wanting to trade something. Like clearly, I can see Solana's outperforming Ethereum right now. Why switch? Why switch from trading Solana to trading Ethereum when it's not performing all that great right now? Not against Sol, not against Bitcoin. I don't know. Stupid. Stupid. But that pump yesterday was a nice one, and I closed that out. So I closed that one out, and then I opened up again off of this current drop that we got on Ethereum. Uh, this is at a 0.31. Could get a MACD crossover here. It just keeps holding, chiseling out right here. I'm not gonna say that it's a rising wedge. I mean, not a rising wedge, but a ascending triangle. Just doesn't look like that. But if it keeps hitting this level, it will likely break it and then get a push up. I don't know that I really have. And this again, this right here was from Tuesday stream, and it was from this weekly, and it was from the EMAs, and it's still exactly the same. So I don't need to change anything over here. This might have changed a little bit. No, it's still pretty relevant. So that was from the stream on Tuesday when I dropped these in here. And you can see it's labeled 10, 5, and then the 120 right here. And that was just in case we drop down. I could see where we'd be landing at. And I just synced it in on my other time frames. And I mentioned that we really weren't getting past the 5, which again is exactly where you know, we whipped into yesterday off of that pump. This was, I don't know what to consider this one right here when that happened last week. But that's what that is. That 5. Here's that 10, and then that 120 if we do drop to the downside, which is basically this right here, the low. Don't really see anything of interest. Except maybe this time it could actually hit the golden pocket since it didn't yesterday. And I expect for this wick to be revisited. XRP reclaimed. Hold on. I probably have to adjust this. Reclaimed above the previous day low, so that's cool. And it just ate all those candles right there. That one and that one. This might actually be golden pocket. And it is. So if it moved back down, it would put in some sort of an inverse head and shoulders if it respects this golden pocket or respects, the daily low again. Get that. That could be a good entry if you're into XRP. So that's a nice engulfing over here. It's nice. And then the morning star pattern. Obviously, you can tell I haven't actually been over here on the chart anymore. Delete that. Careful. Not doing so great. ADA. This is important. Let me get rid of that. This is crucial. I think this is where ADA is not supposed to be breaking below. It would have been, except it did take it out over here with that October. What was that? The 10th or something like that. 6th, okay. October 6th. No, I think it was like the 10th was the day that it happened. That's just that week. Um, yeah, bad, bad Ada. And see, this is where I was looking for it to hold the standard deviation 1 from the low. And this was from a monthly time frame. It may not, hold on. Yeah, this is from the monthly time, which gives it the potential to come all the way down here to this one now. That's how I read them anyway, which this could have moved some. It looks like I haven't checked on it in a month because I did it back here on the 27th or something. I don't have to have this here right now. We're far from any of this, so just take it off. Yeah, you can see it's been a while since I've looked at these. I usually check back in every month, but Ada's not one that I trade, so I haven't bothered with it. And well, you can see that Ada's never come down to this one right here, the standard deviation 2. It's never done that before. So this is a really critical level for Ada. Like it was in a squeeze over here, so that doesn't count. Any other time it has respected, pretty much respected this standard deviation 1 right here on the lower side of the Bollinger. But right now, price is below it. No reaction just yet. I mean, it is a monthly time frame as well. Today's just the 18th. This could be the low, or it can go lower. This could actually be the low. Let's see, terms of, oh, can you get this one off of here? Um, there's nothing to see from this, not from the EMAs. There's nothing I could do with that. There's nothing I can do with that. Wow. And see, at least in both of these occasions right here, it had an EMA at the low. I mean, not an EMA, but it had a moving average at the low. At least it had a moving average at the low to be able to. I don't know. It's just it's hopium right here that it don't go down here. I mean, it could be the low, but it's really hopium for anybody holding ADA. Everything is on top of it right now. I don't care how you look at it. Everything is on top of it, with the exception of standard deviation one, two, standard deviation two on the Bollinger. Everything else is above it, which is different. I could have looked at this and been like, yeah, we're going up, yeah, um, it's holding. I could have looked at that and had something to say. I could have looked at this and said maybe it comes into this or something like that. But it is above this 50 right here. So that's a good sign. It's above this 50. And now it's just below everything. So, and it's at the critical level. This doesn't look good. That's all I have. What I usually use is I use a Bollinger percentile, a scale. I use a scale to kind of see it. Ouch. This is reminiscent of this. So this could just be getting started. Hmm. Yeah, you really have to hope that it holds on to this trend line right here. I did look back at this because I said I liked the 4 hour. Said I like the 4 hour. And yesterday just murdered this thing. Remember that choppy, it would have got stopped out right there. That choppy short on Tuesday. Jeez. I don't think we're coming back up towards this anytime soon. I'm gonna get rid of that. Broke this right here. Get rid of that and get rid of that. And then take that off. It's basically where it came to on that. I still want to say October 10th. I don't know why it reads the 6th. What was that? That was the 10th. Okay. Yeah. So it's relevant. I'm not going to change how I have it from the monthly. I just wanted to make sure we weren't, that we were correct on this low. I think that was supposed to have been like a 786. No, it's not. It's the golden pocket. 0.886 must be somewhere around about this. I'm just guessing, but I can just turn it on. Stupid. I don't know. I don't think I would like it below that trend line, below that point right there, which is getting close to coming into now. So all of this support is gone. You would have to hope below that. Yeah, it would have to be here. It have to be somewhere in here. around about these lows in here and hope that there's still some interest there or something, because it's no bueno if it doesn't deviate away from here. I don't think this tracks. Well, this is a daily, so it could. Yeah, that was what we needed, was to get above here where you can see the confluence from the 20, and that didn't happen. So right now it's just trading in between 1 and 2 to the downside. Comes up maybe 26, above 26. Probably get a better read off of EMAs on it. Let's see. Yeah, you got a much better, cleaner on using the EMA. It's not getting past that 10. See every rejection from this daily time frame. Any little pump to the upside has been off of this 10 so far the last couple of days. So we could assume right now that 27, if price did manage to come back up, first of all, this would be resistance right here with the lows at 25.96. But hyperliquid would do some hyper stuff sometimes. So if it did break back above there and come into 27, so to the upside, that would be what I would look for today. Be somewhere around 24 to 25.97 for rejection point on hyperliquid, and maybe get some sort of a reaction at this low if it comes down here to it. Maybe, just maybe, say 22.70. Let's just give it a little room. 22.71. Let's mark out. I did mark it out. I might need to move it. Yeah, let me move this, and then some of this stuff I don't need, so I will remove it. I don't need that one. Delete it. And those will move slightly, so it doesn't. It'll be close enough. I'm gonna put 94 just to round it up. And then I gave this a little bit of space. So 22. So I can find it when I drop down. I thought it was gonna help me find it. Not always so lucky. Oh, it blocked it. Possible higher low. Wish I'd have gotten short off of ZEC. I'm still holding on. That was what we had rejected the call. I mean, if ZEC continues to, if that was just another lower high, which it could be, I just start to look back down here towards this and that VWAP again, which should be somewhere across here. It's a 4 hour. Hopefully it shows up properly off the 4. Yeah, it does. So yep, I look for another bounce off of the VWAP, or it finally comes down into this support level in here. But you can see, yeah. Otherwise, it actually taps this time, taking out this low. So SUI yesterday just rejected off of the golden pocket. Get rid of that. I don't know why I drew it like that. I must have been looking at it from a 15-minute. Hold on, what was that? I deleted the wrong thing. This was a total disappointment. Not total, but yeah, that's quite disappointing. I don't need that anymore. That's from a monthly as well. Just take a look at that. And that I've moved this one, and I haven't. It's flat, so I really haven't had to touch it anyway. I'm trying to turn that off. Sorry. I don't know. It really holding here is gonna be the best bet for Sui. I don't like that. Yeah, I actually want to hold this or not, and it makes it more likely. Yeah, I just work off of horizontals. Let's see what notes I put in here. Yeah, this is it. If it's not holding this, then I think this was supposed to be like the bear market lows, but I think that was no. It can go. It's in it, but beyond this level right here, it's just trashy. It's just no good. If it's not holding here, then I'm just going to assume the worst for it. Most other things did come back down and revisit the lows of this wick. This has just been a slow one with the XRP, same situation, just been kind of slow coming back down here into it. It may have built up a little bit of liquidity when that drop happened, but I know that that was one of the issues that Sui was having, was a liquidity issue. Even when I did my video on Sui, when Sui was up here, I said that it probably would come into this level right here, and I would only spot buy it, and understand that when you spot buy it, that you're risking the chances of it coming back down into this 194 to 164 level, and it has superseded that. So right now, I just think that if it's not holding here, and take this wick out of the equation, and just say if it's not holding here, then I think that that increases the chances of it taking out, at least taking out this wick low in here, maybe even coming down here to that 23, this weekly level. Got no data there. 3 week, yeah, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good if it's losing that level, because if it's losing that level, then that means delta is also crossing. Actually, I think this is the MACD is also crossing below the zero line, which is never good. That just increased the selling pressure. We get a faster drop off if that happens. If it loses that, then price would move a lot more rapidly, in my opinion, through here. Just like with, let's see, here. Yeah, that was the get out. Yeah. This was the point why I was saying that. Somewhere in here. No. Yeah, somewhere in here. I do have a limit order set to buy here off of this 98. I did start buying it from this level right here, because I knew it was coming into bear market territory. So I started buying from this level, bought once there, bought once here, and then I have a buy order set for here. And I think I cut it off at 98. I don't buy anymore past this because of the risk. But that is what I did. I may want to cancel that. I might just cancel that though, because if it loses here, then it will just keep going. Strong possibility. I don't think I have anything set up on that. Let me look at pump. I think I can't remember where I was able to pick up data from. The best data. Hmm. And that's how quickly things will turn on you. Because I know that when I bought it, um, it looked like the MACD might have been flipping positive on it. And what else was I looking at? I might have been looking at, yeah, that's exactly when I bought it too. And it was me who, um, I don't know what this long is. Let me see what that was. Yeah, that was something else. No, December 11th. Oh, that was something else. Yeah, that's what I was looking at when I bought it too. And it's not gonna make it. All right, Ethereum is coming up a little bit more. Looking kind of cute over here. Looking kind of cute. We'll jump back on it. Um, Solana's pushing through that resistance level it has. I'm gonna jump back over there on that, but yeah, that's why it's looking like that terrible 70% down. Yeah, it is what it is. And I think the weekly was as much as I could get out of this. And I don't know why that weekly Bollinger is still sitting. Not that. It's this. Yeah, it's rolling down, which, yeah, pump is dead. Pump is dead. Oh, pump is dead. Yeah, it's coming down. The Bollingers are turning down. Oh, well. I don't even need these two up here because, anyway. All right. Ethereum is getting relatively close in here. Close. This is off a 4 hour time frame though. But it is getting relatively close to coming into that 382, 2881, and then we have 2909. Let me see it from a 15 minute. Could be our shorts. Could be. Solana right now, like I said, is breaking up this level where it was finding resistance at. And like I say, it keeps chopping at it. I still don't think that this is some sort of an ascending triangle, so I won't be putting a measured move on this. Not that. But what we looked at for Sol is 1/3. What was it? What was it? My guy. Sincere was talking about this also. I put the notes in here. Where did I put the notes at? Oh, I didn't put the notes in. I put in limit orders. Um, which is 130 and 131.29. So golden pocket 786, basically. Um, fair value gap. That's what we'll be looking at, a rejection from the fair value gap. Fair value gap. If we're so lucky to get it there. If we're so lucky to get it there. Bitcoin, we can look for the golden pocket 786. What did I say on this one? I know that we have been rejecting, not managing to get above here, but I will have to say I do like the fact that it held that low. I do like that. but nonetheless, not managing to really push past the 5 EMA. Had that one time that it did wick above it, but outside of that, it hadn't really. Like I said, this time it could actually make its way. This could have been a test, and I look for this wick to be reclaimed and possibly push into the golden pocket this time, where it should not get too much higher. It shouldn't, unless this is some sort of a indication that it would, since it took out this little bit of liquidity in here and managed to hold a low without taking out this low. It could be something different. It could be. But resistance would be found somewhere within this block right here, is my opinion. And if it comes back and it puts in another higher low, then we can say we're looking to get up here to at least around 96 or something like, yeah, somewhere about 96. Close out one position here. Ethereum. I'm gonna push my luck with I'm gonna set it for this, since this would have a lot more resistance as opposed to the 382. Yep. So one is actually bear diving on the 15-minute. Yeah, I got a bear div off of this. I don't know if this is making sense. I just looked at it and I saw the bear div on it, just off of this 15 minute. I don't have any interest for this level, but I just looked over here and noticed it. And if that's not right, then I'm gonna have to push it down like this right here. But I'm gonna drop this line right here. Hmm. And that actually filled that little bit of a relief bounce for my limit order that I set to sell a portion of my Solana holding. I'd only set it for 124. And the rest of it I still have staked. I just needed to take some more profit out of it before, in case the worst happens here with Solana. Let me. not sure who has the best ETF for Solana. It got so many. It got a Grayscale, Fidelity, SOLZ. I'm not even sure what that is. Just rate Solana ETF. Vanek. There's so many. So I didn't map anything out on Solana's. I did Ethereum's, and I did go in and do IBIT. So I'm gonna take a look at that too. Let's see. Wow, that is rejecting. NASDAQ ETF for Solana. This looks crappy. Find a time frame where it doesn't look so crappy. 4 hour. Doesn't look so crappy. As per yesterday, this is where gamma flipped negative yesterday when price or whatever day this was when price flipped below here. That's where it went gamma flip negative. This is supposed to be the put wall. Let me change this to red. Put wall is supposed to be 13. So this is supposed to be the put wall here. So they'll bring prices back up into here. So if I'm looking at that, and let me just add this chart. If I can get it. Add this on the Solana chart. $30. It's going to be the call wall. There's another important level in here, which is going to be $20. So none of this is close to where price action is right now, but price is more likely to reclaim back above this point right here. So that will get reclaimed as we're looking for that golden pocket 786 to be hit. It will come back up on that soon today. And everything else in between is not really all that important to me. Because it's just going to be basic even numbers. Like 14. 15. And then 16. And this is just before it manages to flip gamma positive, and it's not getting above that either. All right, so just hitting a little bit of resistance, but we will be getting back up here into these lows. But unless that changes, if you look at that SOLZ and you see it above 1676, then would be net positive. It's a long way to go to get to that, but still something to watch. And today is what, Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday, so yeah. That's what they usually do. Since that's such a big strike, they usually bring price back up around that, especially going into tomorrow. That's, expiration date, Friday. Okay, so we're in the 382 right now. I'm gearing towards the 50, unless for the first time it changes behavior. This would possibly be a rejection point. This one right here, you got these lows in here, as opposed to here where we have the wicks. We have more in here. It worked every other time, so why not test it? We're already pretty extended right here, too. Let's see. That's how extended we were there. I'm just going through and looking. That's how extended we were here. Oh, let me delete these. Oh no, this is for the 4 hour. I just didn't block it. We didn't get extended that time. Not there, but we did right here and we did right here. Yeah, we're pretty overextended. Here we go. Here we go. Do we have any data today too? Let me check. Because it's 8:30. Yeah, we got CPI 8:30. Good. Yeah, CPI. Let's see. If I had to move it, which I'm not, I'm going to keep that as is. I would tell you 29.51. But my limit order is set as we get in this little candle. We also have unemployment. We also got unemployment claims too. So we got CPI 8:30 unemployment claims as well, and then Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. All that's happening at 8:30. So let's go. All right. Excuse moi for just a second. Okay. We're also going to be putting in a slight bear div on the 4-hour time frame. And that bear div is going to be based off of the highs in here. Here we go. Here we go. Bring on the shenanigans. Bring it on. I wish I'd have taken a long on Solana yesterday. At least yesterday. After that fall off. All right, target. We hit it. I mean, I don't need perfection on it, you know. Just sometimes I do. I set mine for 29.10. So this time I do. I do need perfection on it. Mm, 29.08. That's what we're doing. Okay. So I set my limit order for 29.10. We still have that data coming out at 8:30. So maybe that. Love you, drive safe. So maybe that'll make a difference in my limit order being triggered. Not chasing the reaction. Hmm. Let me check on Solana. All right, Solana at the moment, after I had to readjust, because initially we were like this, and then I switched it to like this. So you see a little bounce off of that trend line right there. and a little bit of a reaction of a rejection right here off this one. So this is the last line of defense right here to see if prices is going to make it into this fair value gap, this golden pocket area right here, which it does have a little bit of a bear div off that 15-minute time frame. Doesn't guarantee that it actually reverses from here, because my limit orders are set for here, um, but yeah, it doesn't guarantee anything. It's just highlighting the fact that it does have the bear div up here. Um, Bitcoin at the moment here on the lows right now, just here on the lows. Again, I do think that this week right here gets a revisit, and then I'll be looking for price to push into the golden pocket. I'll be looking for a rejection in here, and with the 5 being here, also I'll be looking for a rejection there. Now, if for some reason, I don't know, let's just say price just gets some sort of a crazy spike to the upside or something like that, I I I, I can see myself entertaining. Um, this trend line here, which I can't give you a figurative number off of, but somewhere in between that to here to the 10. So I would look at the 10. Now, if we're doing this 10, then we basically flip market structure on a lower time frame, right? Because again we held this low down here, which is why I'm so banked on price coming up here and taking out this wick. I definitely think that price comes up here and takes out this wick, even if we have to sit here for the next 10 minutes and wait to see if that happens with CPI data. I think that that's a possibility of price coming up here and taking out this wick. We took out this liquidity right here, got that reaction, but held this low. That means something. In my opinion, it means something, because we didn't take this out. That means something to me. You only brought me back one?
No, but the whole packet.
Okay, thank you. And like I said here, which I didn't get triggered into the position, and I'm not going to chase price action. So if we're behaving again, if we're behaving like we did here, like we did here, like we did here, then it should, it's worth the risk for me to set that limit order for it. But mine's again is set for 29.10 right here. But if some shenanigans happen, let's just say some shenanigans happen right here, I am leaning towards this EMA right here. I'm leaning towards this EMA. Just if some shenanigans happen and we don't do what we did here, what we did here, what we did here, which was reject at the 382 out of 50 retracement, which is where we're getting a little bit of a reaction from now with these lows in here acting as resistance. then I would look at this right here as a rejection point. So just in case, you wanna have your stuff in place, stops in place, just in case, unless that doesn't bother you, that extra push. You know, 5 minutes till news comes out. Everything is sitting at some sort of a resistance level. When I say everything, I'm referring to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Let me check out, see what coin is doing right now. Same thing. Did anybody tune in for that Coinbase event? I watched a little bit of it and then I got sleepy. So some of the stuff I could already see from their platform, what they changed. Just like when I went to unstake a portion of my Solana, I realized that they have an option to, because it's 5 days for it to unlock, but they have an option for you to unlock instantly, which I appreciated that. An option for you to unlock instantly, but they charge you based on your position size. They charge you for that unlock, that instant unlock. Otherwise, you have to wait your 5 days. And I went ahead with the instant. So I had to double pay on fees, but I've been earning pretty good on my Solana, so it didn't bother me that I had to, you know, to pay for the instant unlock and pay for the transaction itself. Um, so it was cool. It was all right. I like that. I like the fact that they offered that instant unlock, because I for sure thought I was just gonna have to wait however how many days it was, and I was regretting not doing it sooner. Um, and I tell you one thing, they did change, or maybe I don't know, but you know how you can earn off of USDC um, on Coinbase. Well, I thought that they was going to give me like a preview before they transferred the money over, because I thought they were going to give me the option to select how much I wanted to transfer in for the staking for USDC, and they didn't. They just transferred everything um, into that staking that I had, with the exception of a little bit of cash, but they took all of the rest of it and they pushed it and they put it over there. But you can still trade with that, and I didn't realize you can still trade with it, and you can. I don't know how I feel about trading with that, but um, I just left it. I didn't feel like going through the process of trying to move it back because they might unstake everything. They move everything, they might unstake everything. Is how I thought about it. But Coinbase also is hitting the resistance of these lows in here at the moment. We'll see what kind of shenanigans we got in about 2 more minutes here. They might start to do something before these 2 minutes, but that's what we're hitting right now on coin. And then let me see what hood is doing, because those will do. Uh, not really, not really. I don't even count this over here anymore. It you know, I got a little bit of reaction off of this drop right here too when it came down into it. So maybe. And here comes the shenanigans from the data. Let me see what we're looking like over here. On my end is pending information. Negative 10.2. No, CPI came in under. Yeah, CPI came in under right there. Unemployment claims came in equal. So it's having an impact on price action. I said if it came with the shenanigans, I would be watching for that 29.50 is what I said. 29.51, 29.50. Just to say 29.50 is the shenanigans that I'll be looking for, because it had not been breaking up above this point. So that's what I would say to it. That's why I said make sure you got your stop in there just in case, unless that doesn't bother you, that it has the potential to push up towards that moving average somewhere right about there. It's a strong wall. Let me look back over here at Biddy. This is not the one I would typically use, because I don't see my 120 in here, which could have been what we tapped yesterday too, along with that 5 from the weekly time frame. Actually, you know what? Let me put this back on and let me change this for a sec just to see. Yeah, see, Then I figured that it was at 120 from the daily, from the 4 hour time frame, but a five from the weekly. So that was right. That was right. Cancel. And I tell you, use that at 120. It is, yeah. I only started paying attention to it when I saw a lot of the large caps in the stock market tagging 120 and bouncing away from it. And that's when I started paying attention to it. Yeah, I'm okay with this because we're not bullish. We definitely not bullish for this. Not bullish for that at all. So I'm good with it. Alright. I really don't have anything else to add to this story. I appreciate you all for showing up today for the stream. I hope you got some good information out of this and know what to look for. You know what to look for. I just run back through it one more time with you. I do think that Bitcoin could potentially come up and revisit that wick right there. I don't think that right now. I think that this could be a cap somewhere in here between golden pocket 786. I think that could be a cap. I'm really just looking here at the golden pocket. It didn't touch it the first time. I think that it has a chance to come up here and hit the golden pocket. All right, just taking out this wick right here. I really don't think that we're ready for anything beyond this five in here. I have to put some respect on the fact that when we got this rejection yesterday, this nasty little rejection right here yesterday, that when price did fall back down, it didn't take out this low. It didn't take out this low right here, so that's good. So we're still putting in the higher low. Well, from this point right here, we know that we're still putting in the higher lows. But I'm really just paying attention to this double bottom in here on Bitcoin. All right, and we took this liquidity from here. So that might give it, again, more space to push up in here. I will look for a rejection in here, but if it comes back down and we see it holding, putting in another higher low off of this right here, then maybe this flag situation just doesn't pan out the way, it's being read. Not at the moment, because we're still looking for that 2021 or 2022 play, that small relief bounce off the higher time frame to take place, and we're just not quite hitting that just yet. So that's my thoughts on this. Like, still looking for this part right here. Still looking for this part right here. So I'm looking for us to get into here. If we're talking about a head and shoulder formation that will push us down through here, which is supposed to put, anyway, that's too much information. If we're talking about a head and shoulders, and this is what I'll be looking at. I'll be looking for price to at least come up to here. And this is, again, this is the 382 50 right here. So 50 here and 382 here. 382 rejection was over there, and a 50 right here. I'm going to lean towards a 50. So I'm going to lean towards, could be this little wick in here that offers some sort of a resistance, but it could also be this one right here. That's why they're both on the chart, because we don't know. We just have to wait on the reactions, zoom in on lower time frame, see if that happens. May not be today that we see this, because that would be crazy, right? That would be absolutely crazy. But before the month end, this could be the point right here for Biddy where that can happen, just based on this double bottom, based on holding this low, based on if we come back up and we're putting in another little high over here, at least from this stance right here, and come back and put in the higher low, then we could start moving up on this. All right, so that's my feelings on Bitcoin. I didn't even put you on this tab. See, that's how I get when I'm trying to go. I didn't even put you over here on the tab. Sorry. My gosh. You got the message. I ran through it a few times. I hope you got the message. I hope you got the message. But that was what I was trying to put in over here on Bitcoin. The only thing you didn't see was me saying this right here. Still looking for this situation that we got in 2022 to take place over here. This is a 382. This is a 50% retracement. This is the same thing, a 382 right here and 50% retracement. I'm looking for a 50% retracement in here. This isn't something that's going to happen today. This is a monthly time frame, okay? But if we're going to get this right here, then that's what I'm looking at. And I was highlighting this wick right here, which gauges with the 382, and this one right here, which gauges with the 50% retracement, if we're talking about a head and shoulder situation here for Bitcoin on the 1 month time frame. So looking for this same thing right here, which is why I don't think that foot plays out just yet, that hockey stick, that bear flag, blah 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 blah. Right now, I'm still banking on this to happen, and then we roll down. So this gave me a little hope that this isn't happening right now, that this is just a deviation, overshoot right here, and it comes back up. But the way we're going to know that, or be able to identify with that, is going to be coming into this golden pocket right here, rejecting. I'm looking for a rejection here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a rejection here. And if not this exactly, then somewhere in between this, and come back down and put in another higher low, and then continuing to move up. That's something to watch for over here before we get overly bearish in this moment. Just in this moment, before we get overly bearish in this moment. Let's see a revisit on this right here. Ethereum, the shenanigans, like I said, somewhere around 29.50, since it's not playing ball like it did before, which is a change of behavior for this 4-hour time frame. We talked about that. I'm really big on change of behaviors. If you stop doing something that you were doing before, then it leads me to think that maybe some sort of a bigger bounce could be in play for it. So we can see that we start reacting at this 382.50. We broke it. We rejected there, we rejected there, we rejected here, 382.50. So now we're doing something a little bit different. Again, I'm leaning towards, based on the 4-hour EMA. Like I said, if you can bear the grunt, then this is my thoughts right here. Do I think golden pocket? I mean, that could be what it's heading into. right now, if I put, I'm not gonna put on the golden pocket, but if I, hold on. But I think we found resistance right here. Again, that's 20, it's 29.55 now, whatever it wants to be. Whatever it wants to be, whenever it wants to be it. Okay, so that's 618. And then that's 65. Okay, so maybe I was giving it a chance to push into this though. That's what I was trying to do, give it a chance to push into that. Because it's really overextended, at least from the 4 hour perspective. From the 4 hour time frame, we'd be looking at a 50% rejection from on the RSI. So that's what I would be looking for with that. But that is the golden pocket. We're getting that reaction right now off of it. I just dropped it down to here. So behavior did change. I'd be looking for a higher low on Ethereum at this point. Maybe just coming back down. I had this marked out on another chart, which was, where you at? Yeah, which is basically just coming back down to back test that 382 level. All right, that would be my thoughts. And then there's Solana. For Solana, let me see what chart I'm on. Make sure I'm on the right pane. The idea was the golden pocket, maybe even the 786, but right now I'm going to look at the golden pocket for one. And if Solana is lucky and we see a rejection from here, I'll be looking for a back test of this trend line again, to see what this situation right here was. Was it a breakdown with strength, or was it, just a reaction, and we come back in and we hold this, and we can be looking at an inverse right here, because we're at a place where we really need to hold for Solana. Otherwise, it's a S fest, ish fest, And then we saw that if we projected that this was going to be that sort of situation, that it came back down and it held here. If it makes it up here and then it comes back in, do I still have that over here? I deleted that, but that's okay. If it comes in here and it rejects here and it comes back down here and it holds here, it did project a move into the golden pocket up here. I may have left this field in here. I'm adding another one. We did project that
potential inverse, you have to omit this wick. That potential inverse could bring price back into here if it's a rejection from this golden pocket. If it comes up and taps this 786, then the rejection would come from the 786 up here as well. So support on the retracement is what we'd be looking for to put in an inverse head and shoulder that could possibly push price into here or here. Canceling this overshoot. We would say this is an overshoot. And I have limit orders set up for, actually have it set up for both. I'm willing to take a little bit of risk in here at the 786 and the golden pocket both. And Ethereum is pushing through, but this is the point where it would actually invalidate any sort of a bear div if it got a close above here. But my limit order has been hit on Ethereum. Ethereum, like, girl, you messing with the wrong one today. You messing with the wrong one today. Let's see you on the downside. All right, a little bit of a reaction. A little reaction. A little reaction, but Ethereum, like, not today, girl. Not today. Not today. This is those highs right in here. This is those highs. Yep. But that's all I got. Just waiting on this rejection here on Ethereum. That is all I got. Maybe this time it comes back again. Maybe it comes back in here and back tests this low again and hold it at support. That'd be great for Ethereum if it manages to do something like that. Um, Even with this, I do still think that we're rejecting right in here and coming back. We're not bullish enough in my opinion for all of this. We're just not. We're not bullish enough for all of this. But that's still a nice move for Ethereum. That did help me on the long position that I have open on Ethereum, and I did take some profit on this right here just in case, um, because I opened up the short. All right, that's it. I appreciate you for being here. I will see you in the morning at 5 o'clock. Hopefully, it's a better day across all markets today. That is the hope. A better day across all markets today. And take a look back at the VIX too before I leave, just to see. Yeah. just another look back here at the VIX. I don't see a reason for me to change the levels that I've been using on VIX. So if you see it coming back to any one of these, it'll probably bounce away from here. Right now, it is still holding that rejection that it did earlier from the top side of the broadening structure. The broadening structure. So gets down into here. This should give a little bit of relief to the market in the time being. Um, yeah, I will look towards one of these right here. Be great if it came all the way down here. That would be great. Or even just, I mean, I don't think that it'll do this right here. I don't think it'll come back down here towards that. I could add a trend line across this low right here. So I add a faded line right here. And then look for that. And you know I'm a little bit OCD on these charts. So let me do my OCDness. Alright. So number one, if VIX is going to reverse, it's going to be here. And then beyond that, then I start to look at one of these right here, which I'll take this one off the table. Wouldn't be mad if it did, but I don't expect for it to be all down here. Well, past here. I don't expect for it to be past here. And that's all I got. Again, I'm saying that's all I got. That's all I got. See you tomorrow at 5. All right. Thank you.